not how it's supposed to be. It's not broken, but it's not very flexible anymore either. Hey guys, welcome in the bilge of Wind Rose, the deepest point of the ship. So I'm just installing a return pipe for the diesel fuel polisher that we've been installing these days. And yeah, once this is done, I can start working on the new vlog. So let me finish this and get you out of there, and then see you with a cup of coffee. All right, come on. Good. All right, there you are, saved from the bilge. Woohoo! So I have my coffee. You are here, which is good. And we have a new episode of Sailing Wind Rose. So this episode is about sailing. It is about splicing rope and connecting devil's claws, as we call them in Dutch. So let's get started without further ado. The first trip was in a weekend, which went to Edam. There we go. Volendam we went again, and we got anchored nicely. So honestly, quite a lot has changed between the last video and this video. Predominantly the fact that there are a lot more views and there are a lot more subscribers. So first I want to welcome you. It's really heartwarming to read all the comments and to see all these subscribers. So yeah, it's quite funny as well, because first we had like 10 subscribers and now we have like 600 or something. So one of the comments that I actually got was that somebody was interested in the speeds of the boat, like how does it perform, and I thought maybe it's nice to just take you along on that a little bit. So let me explain first the weather. So let's start with an analysis of the weather. Here you see the weather map of that particular day, the 12 o'clock in the night, pointing at the Netherlands to you, so you have some orientation. And then pointing out to you the low pressure systems. So low pressure systems want to go from left to right, west to east, and the high pressure systems are there and they're trying to prevent it. Sometimes in these systems there is rain with the fronts. So in this case you need to pay attention to the droglijn, we call it in Dutch, I'll translate it. And then when I animate these maps, you actually see it move over the map. So you see the droglijn going and growing. And with rain comes wind. So looking at the analysis of that day, you see a 3 till 4, and that in the end died again. And this was exactly what we had. So now knowing the weather, a 4 gusting to 6. Let's look at navionics, because basically it tracks the speed over ground and we can actually do a replay with that. So there's always some locks and stuff to get out. And now this time we set sail when we got out the Oranjesluizen, and the interesting part was that we had a Gybe, so didn't really do that correctly. Come back to that later, but that's why you see a bit of going up and down of the speed. But once we were into the main channel and we could roll out all the sails, where we by the way had a reef in the main sail and in the Genoa, we were broad reaching with a western wind. And picked up quite some speed, so doing some good speeds here, 6 with a maximum of 7.6 something knots if I'm not mistaken. Also had this rain front coming over. It wasn't a lot, just a little bit of drizzle. And then turned around by the hordes of Marken, where we started close reaching. The interesting part to mention here is that I did not put down the centreboard fully, which prevents the wing shape from creating enough lift. So I think that it puts the speed a bit down. So looking at the final destination was Edam, but we checked it out and actually didn't like it that much, so we turned around, went via Volendam, and then ended up in the Gouwzee again. Actually went to Edam, but concluded that it didn't really look nice. So we went back to where we always go. Ha! We're back in Volendam! Yes! But this time there's the marina. And we're here on the other side of where we normally are, which is there. So just before people in Edam feel offended, we actually didn't visit Edam. It's a beautiful city, but we wanted to anchor in front of it, and it just didn't look all that nice. So we skipped it. Next time we will go there for sure. As we said in the explanation, we also had a gybe. A gybe is when you go downwind, so you have the wind to your back, so to say. You're following the wind, and then you open up your mainsail. So the mainsail is basically, the boat is like this. The mainsail you open up, so you're there going that way. And then if you don't steer it correctly, the wind catches the sail and it goes to the other side really quickly with a lot of force. And as there is an aluminum boom and a big sail connected to it, you really don't want to hit it actually on your head or something. So we learned that if you are in a very narrow piece of water, that you shouldn't start with the mainsail, but you should start with the Genoa, the sail in front, which you can use with the roller. We call it a furler. That's a lot more safe. So we learned something, and we obviously had some consequences. The vlogmaster said, if you feel something, you have to start taking a video. Well, I can tell you something. I feel something, and it hurts. I don't know what it is, but I had a gybe. Actually wrecked this thing. I fixed it with a nut, but the whole thing came loose. And that's actually pretty predictable, because as you can see here, there is just a wipe around it, and that's it. And that actually this one also is getting loose. So I would say this is not the best construction, but I'll fix it when we get back. Ooh! I even chopped a part of my finger. Ah! Quite funny because I can't really remember what I did, but well, it's not how it's supposed to be. It's not broken, but it's not very flexible anymore either. So as we say in Dutch, if you burn your butt, you have to sit on the blisters. But then maybe it's a blister in disguise, because we could have a drink after it, and have learned in a sort of confined way that you shouldn't do this.
Cheers.
To the first sailtocht where something really happened. And it was just 4 with gales of 6, but still it was quite intense.
Kijk nou zo'n mooie liggen hier.
The catch of the day inderdaad, ja. Yes, that might have looked a bit awkward, but that's how you wake up in a boat. If you have like a big hatch above you, you look at the blue sky, and then if you look into the cabin, everything is silent, everything is still. It's beautiful. So, beautiful start of the day, breakfast, and let's go sailing again. once again we're on our way to the wharf of Marken. Sort of broad reaching, but above all very relaxed. So for those who paid attention, yes, there was a reef in the main, and no, it wasn't really necessary, so we had to get it out while under sail. Getting a reef out of the main, and normally I would have started the engine. Yes, I would, but this time we actually close hold on the Genoa, and then gave some room to the mainsail, and that actually made it possible to just reef it like that. I had to do some fiddling about with the reef lines, especially the blue one who got the knot got all the way up, so that I need to check next time. I actually need to double check how that works, because I now see that the line also isn't properly connected. But yeah, it worked, and that's it's awesome. So now we're upping 2 knots, 1 knot. And we're close reaching at a higher degree towards our final destination, which is Amsterdam. And no, it's not always sunny in the Netherlands, but it remains to be a matter of perspective. So this was the sailing part, but as with all sails, after the sail you kind of learned something and you kind of figured something out, which most of the times results in another to do. So the other day I noticed there was some shaving because of the chain. When we are behind anchor and there is a strong wind, it actually shaves off the paint, as you can see. And in order for preventing that, they invented something they call a devil's claw. Would you not have always wanted to be able to splice a line? Why, you might ask? Well, because you can then anchor in beautiful places. And yes, by the way, I read the comments on the anchor winch. I will think about that, okay? So in the Netherlands it's 4 meters deep, so I think I will change my mind when we go on. Anyway, splice a line, put the devil's claw to it, and make sure that it doesn't shave on the front of the boat anymore. So it took 3 hours. So I will be fast forwarding parts for your convenience and cut out parts for the same convenience, but at least you will have a clue of what I did. What is splicing a line? There we go. This is the moment where I will be connecting the devil's claw to 2 pieces of rope. This is 8 core twisted line that I will splice into a lus, we say in Dutch, to this. So this already took 30 seconds, so you can imagine how long the rest of the video took. Anyway, let's start fast forwarding here, but I think the idea is clear. We're going to connect these 2 things, and step 1 is to divide the line in 2 pieces. Step 2. Make sure the ends don't kind of raffle all up. Is not. So that was the first step. Alright, let's see. Then what does the man in the book say? So the man in the book, een naamgenootje, Jan, said you need to measure the length of the part that you want to splice in and mark that. Okay. Then we needed to untwist the 8-core line in pairs of 2. Then the next step was to determine how long we wanted the loop to be, because that wasn't in the book. So now the question is, how big do I make this loopy thing? Really small. It might look nice. Handy. I don't know how big do I make this thing? So, and then the real splicing began. We had our tools ready, we had everything ready, and the first one needed to be right straight, and the second one needed to be left straight, I guess. And then we basically repeated that for a couple of times. Next up was to untie the pairs and continue with the single threads. So now I will let you in on a little secret. I actually got confused at a certain point of time. So I thought, am I doing the right thing? So I kind of undid the whole thing. I got another book. I tried it again. I undid it again. I got back to the original book. And then I came to the point where I already was. And I'm already working on this for an hour. Oh my lord. That's a long time. Let's start with the inner one. And yes, we repeated that process as well a couple of times. But when that was ready, we were almost ready. Just a couple of more steps to go. Cut the lines and burn the ends. I really at a certain point in time thought, am I going to be able to do this? And I still wonder how to make it look absolutely pretty. And how, ow! Let's hope the smoke detector doesn't detect this. Not as nice if you do it with the gunny kind of thing. It really kind of looks a lot better. But here you have it. I'm actually quite happy with it. The thickness isn't the same everywhere, so I guess that I could need some improvement. I took 5 twists to be on the safe side, so in total there's 5 for the 2 and then 2 for the 4. But I actually reckon that this will keep up quite nice. So I now have made my own official Devil's Claw with a splice. You call it a splice? Call it a splice from now. Really nice. Yep, I did say 2 lines in the beginning, but I will spare you the details. Trust me, the other one went quite a bit faster. Once you know how it works, it actually is not all that difficult. And the reason why you want to be able to do this is because it is a lot stronger than making a knot in the line. I think it is around the area of 65% breaking strength to 90-ish breaking strength. So splicing lines is actually something that helps a lot if you want to preserve the strength of the line. So, good to know. Let's see the end result. Well, I don't know what about you, but this doesn't look like it's going anywhere. So, it's a wrap. Thank you for watching. I really enjoy making these videos, and with all these new subscribers that I warmly welcome, it's also a lot more fun because we're doing it for more people, and it's great to see you follow along on this great adventure that we are making as we are going. So we learned a lot. It might not be the most thunderstormy or whatever, kind of video, but I think it's reality. I think these are the things that you need to learn, you need to experience to give you a better and a more comfort feeling when you set sail for the big one. So follow us along. Next episode is also about sailing with friends, which I think is a great way of doing because you can learn your friends to sail and make them enthusiastic for it, and you have some quality time to talk with each other about the things in life that keep you busy. So next episode, hopefully within 3 weeks again, and don't hesitate to leave a like, don't hesitate to leave a comment. If you are not following yet, hit subscribe, and hope to see you in the next one. Thank you for watching all, it was a pleasure. Hans-Jan, business cartoonist by profession, naming me the Boaty Goaty, create this amazing piece of art, wondering whether or not jabs would also work against corona beards.